Hello everybody, in this episode of the WineDown we're talking about a new invention from Microsoft, .NET MAUI, and how you can use that to really improve your legacy application portfolio and really move your business into the 21st century.
Welcome to the WineDown, an afternoon podcast where two techie blokes sit down over a bowl of wine and chat about what's happening in the world of tech. Enjoy while Scott and Nick open up about their week in technology.
Hello and welcome to the WineDown. My name's Nick and with me I have
Scott.
Hello Scott, how are you?
Good, thank you. Nick, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. Now importantly, where are we? What are we drinking?
Oh, you're in DY, just looking out at the waves rolling in on the ocean. Look at that, that's beautiful. Lovely sunny day, even though it is a bit cold in Sydney.
You are, I get to look at you.
Oh, there you go. You've got the better option then, haven't you? Clearly.
For sure.
Oh, wow. We're at a lovely little sort of beachside bar called Coretto. Coretto? Yes.
Coretto, that's
Coretto.
right,
I did
yeah.
get it right. In DY, and they've got some, aside from having some lovely little places for lunch and that, they've got a wonderful wine list.
Yes, which we've been starting to enjoy, haven't we?
We did. We did.
And what are we drinking today?
This is well, actually this actually isn't on the list. This is something from behind the counter.
As always with you, Scott.
This is a Coates Shiraz Cab. It's a 2015. So it's a beautiful drop. Mm-hmm. They matured this for 30 months in French oak, and you can really feel it come through.
No, it is. It is absolutely lovely, and it's unfined and something
and unfiltered, unfined and unfiltered.
Wow.
They stop. So with wines, depending on how you want to go about this, you can use things like egg whites or other things to essentially refine the end result. And
yep.
No, they've just gone for it with this, and it is what it is, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Cool, excellent. Now, what we've been doing today is we've been sitting here having lunch, and we've been playing with an application we built for a customer.
Yeah.
Which allows them to do, they're a manufacturing customer, allows them to do a stock take. And this application we've written in something called .NET MAUI.
And I've been watching you. I bought a tablet in that we're going to test some things on, and as we're eating, you're sort of all of a sudden the application appears on the tablet and magic starts to happen. I thought, this is pretty impressive. It used to be a lot harder than this.
Yeah, it doesn't see all the work in the back room. But yeah, so there's, we've been talking about our team working something called Microsoft.NET, and it used to be that .NET, how did they describe it? Java was a platform that you could write your code once and run on anything. And .NET was a platform where you could write in multiple languages and only run on Windows. But
that was the one. Yes.
That's really shifted, and Microsoft have been doing a bunch of work to give us a development platform that we can write applications for everything. So right now we can write apps that run on Linux, run on iOS, run on Android, run on Windows as fully fledged apps, not as something weird. And this app we wrote is doing that, and that's called .NET MAUI. So people might have heard terms like Xamarin, and it's really the next evolution. And MAUI doesn't stand for the place; it's the multi-application user interface. MAUI.
I just think of it as a surfboard. That's all.
Yeah, okay. But no, you can do that. You can do that.
I'm glad. But so look. So what you're saying now is that if we've got a bunch of old applications in the organisation, and a lot of this, in one respect, you look at it and say it's technical debt. We've got to manage it, support it. It's outdated. We know there's no more security updates coming out for it. Therefore, there's risk exposures associated with it. It may not work on certain operating systems that well. It may not. All these other things for these old applications come about, but this potentially is a solution.
It's not an app conversion solution. So let's be. People have been wittering on about this app conversion solution. I can convert your application from legacy to new and it'll be fine. That very rarely works.
I saw a website that does that. You upload your application, put a dollar coin in the slot.
Yeah, right. Yes. Right. That's not going to happen. So the key thing about MAUI, and I'll kind of explain it this way. If I'm going to upgrade an application, I've got a couple of choices at the moment, or did have up until a couple of weeks ago. Choice one, I upgrade it to web. Now, web's okay, but it takes all the processing off the device and starts putting it on the server. So your server costs go up.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or I could write it for iOS and Android, the mobile platforms.
Yes.
And that's fine, but that code kind of gets locked away, and those things do change and all sorts of things. We're using something called MAUI Blazor. And so MAUI Blazor allows me to write the same web technology I would have written before, but actually run it as a native app on the device.
Ooh.
And that's super exciting because my developers can use all their web skills.
Yes.
We can build things in what we call multiple tiers properly. We can do all the exciting things that you can do on the web, like video and maps, and all. We can leverage this incredible raft of development things we've got, and we can run it on any platform out of the same code base. And so what that means is your choice to upgrade the app doesn't now have to be web or platform. It can be Blazor, and I can deliver it on the web, or I can deliver it on anything else. And it's incredibly rich and very cool.
It's all starting to get blurry. It's not as if you have to make one choice and say, we're going to do this, and then hope that's the best choice.
Yep.
It's sort of everything's supported these days.
Yeah, and the reason we chose it for this app, and it's important to think about how you choose things, is this is a stock take app for process workers.
Yeah.
Process workers just aren't very good with browsers. Right?
No, that's fair.
A very simple app that does exactly what they want. They don't want to worry about refreshes or networks or anything else. And we can build all that into this app and give them a really clean, simple experience. So,
and we've sort of looked at this in the past because we've seen where there's going out and talking to clients about how do their systems work, how does their business operate. There's lots of code there from the 2000s and onwards.
Yep.
Where more common solutions were not available, and everybody was writing their own special versions of whatever it was to solve all the problems that were out there. I get that.
Yep.
But in modern days, as in today, let's say modern days, there are a lot of more advanced web solutions available.
There are, and you can do almost anything on the web. It's not like it used to be where it's just a few forms. So web UI is really, really powerful. There's nothing you can do on a desktop UI that you now can't do on web, which is kind of cool. But the other thing which is neat about all of this, because I'm now off one code base, upgrades can almost happen automatically.
Oh, okay.
So we can build the build pipeline into, we use GitHub for our version control. We can use the build pipeline is where I take the source code and turn it into real applications. But it goes a bit further than that, because with iOS, Android, and Windows, I have to turn it into real applications. I have to publish it to the store. And what we can do now is we can actually build that into our automated pipeline. So we're then at the point where if there's a security vulnerability, the system will alert us to a vulnerability in our code. It will go and upgrade the code for us. All we have to do is say, yes, we'll accept that change. It will then automatically test our product. It will build our product. It will publish it to all the stores on the web.
Oh,
and everybody will get the latest version.
That sounds pretty impressive,
It's really cool, right? So it takes away all that tedium and means once we've shipped an application, even if the customer doesn't want to pay ongoing maintenance and upgrades, we can still maintain that to the latest security versions without impacting us too much.
Right, so we're getting all the security updates that are going to address the risk issues?
Yep.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, and the other thing we know is if I upgrade an application to the latest versions every month, because these things come out monthly, it's really easy. Every month I spend about an hour. If I have to upgrade it like after 6 months, it's going to take me 2 days, because it's really hard to make those big leaps and really easy to make the small ones.
Well, I guess what we're seeing, though, is for all the organisations that have got applications from the past out there that are running parts of their business, we don't need to say, look, let's just toss all of that, find some web platform that does this now, some SaaS application that does all of this. Because look, originally I was under the sort of mindset that when I'm looking at some of the SaaS applications that are out there these days, they do like 80% of everything you need to do sort of straight out of the box. And perhaps even their version, or the version of best practice they've used to model their application around, is actually better than whatever you've got. So
I'd probably say if your uniqueness is your business is in a geographical area. So let me kind of explain that. If you're, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a term. Oh, let's say somebody who does end of year tax for individuals. That's a process. Your uniqueness is because your office is in a shopping centre near footfall, or you're somewhere geographically. You do the same as everybody else who does that kind of thing. There's no uniqueness. Don't get an app written. Use what's off the shelf. There's enough stuff there.
Right.
But if you do anything that's unique that you can offer to your customers that's valuable, and that's lots and lots of businesses in Australia, then you should probably think about, yeah, my core systems may be off the shelf, but I might do something unique in the app space. I might solve this business problem, or I might have this thing going on in my manufacturing process, or I might have this way of reaching out to my customers, and lots of people make benefit that way.
And I'm seeing that where there's a lot of clients and other people that we're visiting where they've got these applications sitting in certain parts of the business, and it runs that part of the business. Or when it comes together, it really is part of their special sauce for being who they are.
Yep.
And you can't just sort of say, oh, look, that's all right. Look, here's this SaaS app. It does all this sort of stuff now. Why don't you just migrate to that and not have to worry about it again?
It just doesn't work that way.
And it turns their special sauce into something like generic tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Where
and that's again, what's your unique selling proposition? And for lots of companies, to be honest, if I'm a plumber, my unique selling proposition is I'm close to you, or I've got a slightly different business model, or I charge no call out fee, or whatever it is. So there's lots of businesses where your unique selling proposition has nothing to do about how you deliver your service.
No, but
there's an awful lot where it's about how you deliver your service or your product, and that's where
this is the differentiation part. Yep. Otherwise, everybody is selling exactly the same product, the exact same way, and the only thing you can compete on is price.
Absolutely.
No one likes competing on price.
No, because it only goes one way. It never goes up, does it?
No.
Cool. So that's interesting. So we've got all that. We've got to modernise our applications. It's hard for non-developers to really get their heads around these kind of platforms and what they do, right?
Yeah, and these are sort of new ways of thinking about development.
Yep.
Where the old ways of doing this sort of cross-platform thing, I know, were very clunky, and there's a lot of sort of background work involved there, and they perhaps didn't really work as well as you'd hope they did.
They certainly weren't beautiful. And I think, the applications market has moved significantly. It used to be that I used to hand out a user guide, and we'd spend 8 hours writing user guide. I remember the user education team would spend forever writing documentation on how to do things.
You used to print the user guide and how it is a physical manual you give to someone.
Do you remember getting Excel with all the books that came with it? The formula reference and so there was lots of how do I use something. In today's world, you don't get user guides with anything. The software is expected to be written in such a way that unless it's something incredibly niche in engineering or science or maths or something, you should be able to pick it up and just use it.
Yeah, for at least the basics anyway.
Yep.
I get you may want to have someone come in or do a bit of training for some of the more advanced topics.
Yep.
But yes.
Which means you need to adhere to a bunch of things that people are used to. Things like the hamburger menu on the left-hand side, things like that web look and feel. People are very used to web. And if you can build applications that adhere to the look and feel and the standard actions of the web, you're going to get far quicker adoption.
Yeah, so common controls, that sort of thing.
No, not just that, but common behaviours.
Yeah, okay.
So if I click a button, I expect it to look like it's indented a little bit, or it should change colour, right? It should then go and do something else. Not it should leap out at me, and because you can make all this happen, right? You can do anything you want. So keeping those kind of standards means when we talk about MAUI Blazor, MAUI with web, we can deliver web type experiences on the mobile device, which just feel like you're at home.
And that, when I saw that coming together, that was a real big sort of light on moment that said, hang on, there's lots we can do with this.
There's lots.
And all of a sudden, we're extending the life of what I was thinking of before is perhaps legacy technology.
Yep.
They did a really good job, but mate, it's got security issues, it's got operational issues, it's got all these other issues that at the end of the day are going to add up to be something that's too big an issue to not address. And it's going to get replaced. But now we can actually maintain all of that logic, all of that intellectual property that's been put into that system.
Well,
keep it current.
I'll give you an example. In the latest version of Microsoft Server, not client,
yes,
Microsoft say they will support the Visual Basic 6 runtime. Now, VB6 went end of life in 2001.
Yeah.
So 21, 22 years later,
Yep.
they're saying they'll support it on the server. So why are they doing that?
There must be a lot out there.
Because there's a lot out there.
And it's not just because there's a little two-person organisation down the road saying, oh, that's annoying, I've got an old app, don't want to work.
But there's
No.
trillions of
There's-
lines of enterprise code out
Yes,
there.
there is significant
running on
enterprise
VB6.
pressure saying we are still using these applications.
And the neat thing with it is we can actually take a lot of that and upscale it and uplift it up to MAUI and give you a modern app experience with modern security and modern performance without having to totally reinvent the wheel from
And
scratch.
I really like the security aspect of it.
Yep.
Because, and look, in a lot of cases, these applications are within the business, but once you get a foothold in a network, you're looking for where is the next hole that allows me to go in and get access to something to see some data. And the old, look, VB6, I mean, how many known issues are there with that we know are not going to get resolved?
Well, yeah, I think it's another thing. Like I look at a lot of businesses and they have reception, and you phone up reception and say, "Where's my order?" Well, with a little bit of effort, you can expose that information out to your customer.
Yes.
We can build bots around it. We can deliver apps around it. We can do all sorts of stuff. We don't have to go in and rip everything out and start again. And certainly we're working with a manufacturing company right now. We're not. We've taken their existing system, we've let it run. It runs the business. And now we're bolting around the top of it what will eventually replace it, right? Over time with a proper change management process. And that's allowing them to have things like the app you were talking about and some others.
So being able to deliver a better client experience.
Well, it's all about end user and client experience, right? Right. What we call CX, client experience is the key thing.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
Oh,
Thank you, Scott. So
That's right.
it's how about not giving away your special secret sauce and
Yes.
encapsulating it not just for yourself but for your customers,
that's right. Let's start cooking the secret sauce a different way and modernising it and really using that to add that differentiation capability back into the business.
That sounds awesome. Scott, thank you so much.
Yeah, Nick, thank you very much.
And thank you for watching and listening. Make sure if you do like what you see, make sure you subscribe, give us a like. If you do want us to look at a topic, leave a comment underneath and we'll get back to you and see if we can cover it. Thank you so much, everyone.